Manasarasena Romanchakapasutarangabhaja Sande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Sri Vigrahara Dhamanijanana Tinkarata Ita Shabakam Januyum Kayapi Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Jatuvidasi Bhagavata Sadhu Sarvanatritam Hari Bhakta Sangam Sridveva Sritenda Jatakshadeva Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Srivadika Madhavaya Rapara Madhuya Lila Gunarupanam Sapichana Sadhana Lalapasha Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Nikunjayono Rasike Nishikar Yaya Libi Yukira Pekshaniya Tatrati Daksha Tati Baladasya Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Shakshakari Krena Samasta Shakti Uktatava Vyata Eva Sadi Kintu Prabhuya Priya Eva Tasha Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Yasha Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yasha Prasada Nagati Kutopi Jayam Shubham Sasyaya Sastri Samyam Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Srimad Guru Rasakameta Tuje Rame Murte Kata Chitayatna Yasena Vrindavananata Sakshat Devaryalabhya Janushanadeva Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Vande Guru Sri Charanadavindam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Sri Vedaya Gauri Rapachara Sriya Dhamma Savatari Ajam Dadulabha Prema Kori Varidana Chikaya Shadalatati Pakate Ratana Danya Atmani Vedana Kopri Nirvalana Avajaraksi De Krishna Vishwajapalana Bhakti Anukula Mata Kajira Sikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Bhajana Kikara Saranga Sharana Kati Hoibe Janana Sanana Pratana Sune Srinanda Kumara Rupa Kama Kana Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nita Kora Haribo Haribo Nita Kora Haribo Nita Kora Haribo Haribo Nita Kora Haribo Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Ajnana-Timirandasya Gnana-Salakaya Chakshur-militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavavinyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, Madhya Kanda, Chapter 1. Sri Mahaprabhu starts the Sankirtan movement. All glories to Lord Vishvambar, the crest jewel amongst the Brahmanas. All glories to the beloved associates of Lord Vishvambar. All glories to Lord Gaurachandra, the stalwart amongst all religious preachers, the safe bridge to the spiritual sky. He has fully subdued his physical and mental urges. All glories to the Lord. He possesses incomparable beauty and is the embodiment of the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. All glories to Lord Gaurachandra, for he is the dearest friend and life of Nityananda Prabhu, and the sublime object of love for Gadadhar Pandit and Advaita Acharya Prabhu. He is very dear to Sri Jagadananda Pandit and the tender loving hearts of Vakreshvara Pandit and Kashishvara. He is the Lord and Master of Srivas and his other beloved associates. O Lord, kindly look upon the living entities with divine benevolence. The descriptions recorded in the Madhya Kanda are like streams of nectar which pours out into the ears. It melts the granite-like doubts and atheistic thoughts in the deep recesses of the heart. Please listen attentively with unflinching faith to the narrations of the Madhya Kanda, describing the beginnings of the congregational chanting of the holy name. The entire township of Navadvip offered jubilant and loud welcome to the Lord, who had just returned from Kayadam. Friends and relatives rushed to meet the Lord. The Lord spoke sweetly to everyone, and they were overjoyed to see Lord Vishvambar return. They all accompanied the Lord, many of them going in front of him. They brought him to his house, and he began narrating the experiences of his pilgrimage. The Lord said, "By your blessings and good wishes, I could visit Kayadam and return without any difficulties." The Lord spoke very humbly, pleasing everyone. They were all very impressed by his gentility. The senior members of the society touched the Lord's head and blessed him with a long life. Further well-wishers chanted mantras for his protection as they touched different parts of his body. Putting their heads upon his breast, others invoked the mercy of Govinda, saying, "May Govinda bestow blissful peace upon you." Nobody could describe the joy Sachimata experienced as she saw the return of her son. Upon seeing her Lord's face, Vishnupriya glowed with happiness, and her cloud of loneliness dissipated. The joyous news spread to his in-laws' house, touching them with jubilation. The Vaishnavas were especially happy, and they ran to see the Lord. To everyone the Lord spoke very softly and humbly. Later, taking leave of them, he returned to his room. He took a handful of devotees inside to discuss the more confidential topics of his pilgrimage to Gaya. The Lord said, "My dear friends, I want to describe to you the wonderful places that constantly reminded me of Lord Krishna. As soon as I entered into Gaya, I heard the auspicious sounds of chanting conch shells and bells. Hundreds and hundreds of Brahmana priests were chanting from the Vedas. They glorified Lord Krishna and the place of pilgrimage where he had left the impression of his lotus feet. They said, 'Welcome to the holy spot where the Lord washed his lotus feet.' In previous ages, when Lord Krishna visited Gaya, he washed his transcendental lotus feet at this place. Mother Ganga has become glorious and holy by the touch of the waters from the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Shiva holds that water upon his head with the full realization that this is the water from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Therefore, this place of pilgrimage has become one of the holiest and is known as Paridaka Tirtha, the pilgrimage place where the Lord left the waters of his lotus feet. As soon as the Lord repeated the name of Gayadam and Parapadma Tirtha, his remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu intensified, and incessant streams of tears poured down from his eyes. He became extremely restless, unable to control his spiritual emotions. He began crying out the name of Lord Krishna. So profuse were the tears of Krishna Prema, love of Godhead, that they could have watered an entire flower garden. He sighed deeply, repeating Krishna's name. His whole body was covered with horripilation. He could not control himself anymore and shivered like an autumn leaf. Sriman Pandit and other devotees present could not remain unaffected. They were astounded at seeing this wonderful manifestation of love of Krishna. Tears swelled up in the eyes of the Lord, and flowed freely as if Mother Ganga had found another source. What is this sight? They all thought in their minds. We have never seen the Lord acting like this. This must be the great mercy of Lord Krishna, and he has allowed us to see such spiritual emotions. After a while, the Lord became still, and external consciousness returned to him. He began to speak again. My dear friends, please return to your homes today, but I want to see all of you tomorrow again and discuss very confidentially in a solitary place. I want to disclose the deep sadness in my heart. Sriman, you come early to Suklambara, Brahmachari's house, with Murari and Sadashiva. Everybody returned to their houses, and the Lord became engrossed in his own world. The spirit of Krishna Prema had manifested in the body of the Lord, and he had now lost all taste for anything mundane. Sachi Mata could not understand the new transformation that had overcome her son, but she was happy just to have him near. She saw her son crying out Krishna's name and the tears of Krishna Prema, which flowed profusely from his eyes. The Lord cried out, "Where is my beloved Krishna? Where is my beloved Krishna?" This deepened his mood of separation in love of Krishna. All such activities of the Lord were incomprehensible to Sachi Mata, so in great awe, with folded hands, she prayed for the shelter of Lord Govinda. The time was now dawning when Lord Chaitanya was to reveal his real identity, and the entire universe swayed with waves of joy. News quickly spread to all the Vaishnava devotees that Lord Chaitanya was constantly shedding tears of Krishna Prema, and they all swiftly gathered at his house to see him. The Lord acted very humbly towards them and spoke with everyone. He requested of the Vaishnavas, "Please come and meet me in Sukla Bhara's house tomorrow. I want to open my grief-laden heart to all of you." Sriman Pandit was extremely happy when he saw this wonderful transformation in the Lord. His extraordinary Krishna Prema. Early the next morning, Sriman went as usual to pick flowers at Sriva's house, where there was a jasmine tree, which was like a kalpavriksha, desire tree. Many flowers were picked from this tree. However, the tree would never be devoid of flowers. It had an inexhaustible bloom of fresh flowers. Usually, all the devotees met there during morning to pick flowers and exchange words about Krishna and his wonderful pastimes. In this way, Gadadhar, Gopinath, Ramai, and Srivas would daily enjoy each other's company in the morning. As Sriman Pandit arrived, he was laughing with joy. Everyone greeted him, saying, "Why are you so happy today?" Sriman, happily smiling, said, "Certainly there is to be a reason." The other flower-picking devotees responded, "Then why do you not say it?" Sriman Pandit began, "Very well, you must hear the reason. Something most wonderfully and most impossible has happened. Nimai Pandit has become a great Vaishnava devotee. I heard that he had returned from Gaya, so I went in the evening to meet him. He spoke with everyone with a humble and very detached air, not showing the slightest sign of arrogance or insolence. Then he took the Vaishnava aside and then began describing his pilgrimage and feeling for Lord Krishna. As soon as he mentioned the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Pada Padma Tirtha, his eyes flooded over with tears of Krishna Prema. His whole body was overwhelmed with ecstatic symptoms, shivering and horripilation. As he cried out Lord Krishna's name, he fell to the ground, unconscious. When he regained consciousness, he repeatedly called out Krishna's name and again began crying in separation from the Lord. A river of tears like Ganga Devi flowed from his eyes. After seeing such sublime love of Krishna, I am convinced that he is not an ordinary personality. After he became stilled and self-controlled, he told us that we should all come to meet him in Suklambara Brahmachari's house today. I should bring Sadashiva and Murari along with me, and he would reveal the torment within his heart to us. Thus I have told you the reason for my joy, and this most auspicious news. Sriman's words gave great pleasure to all the devotees, and they loudly repeated Lord Hari's name. Srivas Thakur commented, "May Lord Krishna increase our congregation." The assembled devotees appreciated the mood of Srivas Thakur, and happily they discussed topics of Krishna consciousness. The joyous sounds that resounded them were pleasing to the heart. The devotees blessed everyone, saying, "May everyone be blessed by worshipping the lotus feet of Lord Krishna." Sriman Pandit then left his Vaishnava assembly and proceeded to Suklambara's brahmachari's house. Gadadhar Pandit, who had heard the discussion silently while everyone was picking flowers, also went towards the house of Suklambara brahmachari, while the others went to perform their daily worship of the Lord. Gadadhar Pandit thought, "Let me go and hear what he says about Krishna." Thus he reached Suklambara's house, entered, and hid himself inside. Sadashiva Murari, Sriman, Suklambara, and others such highly advanced loving devotees had already assembled there. Just then, Lord Vishvambar, the crest jewel of the Brahmanas, appeared in the assembly. They greeted each other happily, but the Lord was all the time engrossed within himself. As soon as he was in the assembly of Vaishnava devotees, he began reciting different shlokas, which glorified the nature of bhakti, devotional service. He said, "I had found my beloved Lord, but then he disappeared. In which direction did he go?" Saying these words, he fell down completely paralyzed. The Lord embraced the pillars of the house and began crying out, "Where is Krishna?" and then again fell down. The devotees became affected by the Lord's intense mood of separation from his beloved Lord Krishna. He constantly repeated, "O Krishna, where is my Krishna?" The atmosphere intoxicated the devotees. It made them sway and stagger about the room. Inside the room, unseen by everyone, Gadadhar Pandit fell down unconscious. The devotees lost all sense of direction and identity. Nobody knew where or who he was. They became overwhelmed with love of Krishna, and all external consciousness disappeared from them. The whole spiritual scene amazed Janavi Devi, Mother Ganga. After a while, consciousness returned to the Lord, and he repeated Lord Krishna's name and began crying bitterly. It was a wonderful scene. Everyone had lost themselves in an ocean of ecstatic bliss, of love of Krishna. The Lord fell repeatedly and continuously lamented, "O my Lord, O my beloved Krishna, where did you go?" In this ecstatic mood, the Lord fell many times to the ground, unconscious, but no bruises or pain were visible on his transcendental body. Loud, jubilant cries and weeping in love of Krishna reverberated through the entire house, and Suklambara's house became surcharged with the ecstasy of Krishna prema. After some time, the Lord calmed himself and sat down, but tears of ecstatic love flowed unrestrainedly from his eyes. He asked, "Who is inside the house?" Suklambara Brahmachari replied, "Your beloved Gadadhar Pandit." Gadadhar Pandit entered with his head bowed down, and his unchecked tears flowed profusely in torrents. This pleased the Lord beyond words. The Lord said, "Dear Gadadhar, Jai. The Lord said, "Dear Gadadhar, you are most fortunate and pious, because from your childhood you have developed unflinching love for Krishna. But my life so far has been wasted in a useless pursuit of material knowledge. Then finally, when I found the most precious object of love, he disappeared as a result of my previous impious and profane activities." Jaya Sapai Karsi Siku Goranga Sundar Radha Kiridhara Juki. Saying this, the Lord Vishvambar again fell unconscious to the ground, and the dust covered his entire body. Later his external consciousness returned, and then again he fell unconscious, totally lost in ecstatic separation from his beloved Lord Krishna. It was certainly the invention of providence that the Lord was not heard. It became impossible for the Lord to open his eyes because they were brimming with tears of love of Krishna. The only words he repeated were Krishna's names. He embraced everyone and crying bitterly asked, "Where is my beloved Krishna? My dear brothers, please tell me quickly." The devotees were greatly moved to see his intense pain of separation from Krishna. They remained dumbfounded and lost for words. The Lord said, "Please release me from this grief. I only need the son of Nanda Maharaj, the Lord of the Gopis. I need Lord Krishna." Saying this, he again fell down, his hair loose and mingling in the dust. The day passed unnoticed by anyone, and finally the Lord bade farewell to all the devotees. After the Lord had departed, the devotees spoke openly, expressing their surprise. Each one had marveled at the Lord, their expression. Their external senses and body had become numb. The entire Vaishnava community was overjoyed at the new turn of events. The word spread quickly, and with great joy all the devotees received it, and spontaneously responded by chanting the holy name of Krishna. They could not restrain their amazement and made comments like, "He will reveal Krishna to everyone." Someone else said, "When Nimai Pandit feels a little better, then he can easily break the heads of the atheists." Another commented, "I have no doubt that he will reveal to the world the most confidential pastimes of Lord Krishna." Another commented, "Perhaps because of his association with a pure devotee like Ishvarapuri, he saw the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna." Endlessly they tried to find a possible reason for the Lord's transformation. Yet the devotees were very happy about Nimai Pandit's condition, and they all blessed him, saying, "May he be blessed with the mercy of Lord Krishna." The devotees were truly very happy. They danced, sang, and cried tears of love with new life. While the devotees were happily engaged in dancing and singing, the Lord became increasingly immersed in his mood of ecstatic separation. He went to the house of Gangadas Pandit and offered his respects to the feet of his teacher, who got up and affectionately embraced his student. Gangadas Pandit said, "What a glorious life! You have liberated both the families of your mother and father. All your students have been awaiting you anxiously. They have not opened their books since you left. Even if Lord Balaram had come in person and told them to read, they would have refused. You have returned to brighten everyone's days, but go home now and tomorrow return to begin your teaching. The Lord again offered his obeisances to his teacher before he left, and all the students surrounded the Lord like many stars surrounding the moon. He went to the house of Mukunda Sanjaya and sat at his usual teaching place in the courtyard of the Durga temple. The whole household of Mukunda Sanjaya was overwhelmed with joy. The Lord embraced Purushottama Sanjaya and drenched him with tears of love. The ladies, elevated with joy, made auspicious sound, and the whole house was reverberating with jubilant sounds. The Lord glanced mercifully at everyone and returned to his house. He arrived home, sat at the doorstep of his Vishnu temple, and affectionately dismissed his students. Now whoever came and spoke with the Lord went away bewildered, unable to comprehend the change in the Lord's mood. No trace of the previous arrogance and audacious display of learning remained in the Lord's character. Everyone saw that he was completely detached and engrossed in deep meditation. Sachi Mata was completely at a loss. She could not understand her son anymore. She prayed constantly to Mother Ganga and Lord Vishnu for her son's well-being. She prayed, "O my Lord Krishna Chandra, you have taken my husband. You have also taken my son. There is only Nimai who remains with me. O Krishna, I am helpless and alone. Just grant me this one favor. Let my child Vishvamba remain in the house, healthy and whole." Sachi Mata would bring Vishnu Priya and make her sit in front of the Lord, and the Lord would stare without noticing her. The Lord continuously recited shlokas and kept lamenting and repeating, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" At times when the Lord roared in ecstatic bliss, Vishnu Priya ran away in fear, while Sachi Mata stood helpless and anxious. The ecstasy of love for Krishna kept the Lord from sleep, and his unbearable separation from Krishna made him sit up the whole night through. Yet, as soon as he saw a materialistic person, he immediately went inside himself and did not exhibit any of the ecstatic symptoms. Early every morning the Lord went for his bath in the Ganga, and upon his return he found the students awaiting him. The Lord uttered only Krishna's name and nothing else. The students could not understand their teacher's mood. On the students' request, the Lord sat down to teach. The students sat down and opened their books, taking the Lord's name, Hari, as they were accustomed. The son of Sachi Mata, Nimai Pandit, was greatly overjoyed at hearing his beloved Lord's name. He again became absorbed, forgetting his external senses, and looked upon everyone with his merciful glance. Wholly absorbed in Krishna, the Lord began explaining to his students. He told his students that the essential lesson of everything was Lord Krishna. All aphorisms, commentaries, and dissertations were actually describing the glories of the holy name. The Lord said, "The only eternal truth is the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is the only worshipful Lord in all scriptures. Krishna is the supreme controller, maintainer, and the Lord of the entire creation. Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and every other deity are his servants. Whosoever tries to explain anything without describing the lotus feet of Lord Krishna is an illusion. His words are untrue and his birth is useless. The entire Vedanta, the Agamas, and all other philosophical treatises point out that the devotion to the lotus feet of Krishna is the ultimate and only goal. All the mundane scholars are mesmerized by the illusory potency of the Lord, totally lost because they cannot find shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Lord Krishna is an ocean of mercy. He is the life and soul of every living entity. He is the most dear to his surrendered souls and is the dear son of Mother Yasoda. A person may be well versed in all scriptures, but if he has no attraction and attachment for the holy name of Lord Krishna, then he follows the path of destruction and hell. On the other hand, if a wretched and abominable person chant Lord Krishna's name, then even if he is the most sinful, he reaches the supreme abode of Lord Krishna after leaving this material world. This is the verdict of all the scriptures, and if anyone doubts this, then he is the worst sufferer. If anyone tries to explain the scriptures without having taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, of Lord Krishna, then such a degraded person can never know the true purport of the scriptures. I end here. Reading Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda, Chapter 1. Sriman Mahaprabhu starts the Sankirtan movement. Jai Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Sriman Sarva Bhavana Das ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev. Hari Yaraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopa Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadara Sri Vasari Kora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhattara Guna Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasara Guna Ejai Kusai Kuri Ejai Kusai Kuri Charana Vanda Yahweh Vignanas Abhistapura Ejai Kusai Jamuri Charadas Tam Sabala Kararenu Mura Panchakras Tam Dera Charana Sevi Bhakta Samebas Janame Moe Avilas Ejai Kosai Jabe Braja Kolabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Kolila Prakash Anande Bola Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Sri Guru Vaishnava Parema Jayama Sri Guru Vaishnava Patna Koriya Hari Nam Sankirtana Koriya Goranga, Nitai Goranga, Nitai Goranga Jaya Gorari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Jaya Sabai Karsi Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhar Juki. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Sabhashara Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Sabhashara Sri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai, Ganga Yamuna Ju Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai, Sri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Sri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Sri Purushottama Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat East London Chapter Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat West London Chapter Ki Jai, Samadvaita Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur. Can I ask you something? To make it small so that everything.
Yeah, here, look, this one. Out.
Oh, yeah, oh, very good.
Close.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So pretty, huh?